It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Hope Madden.
This is It's Movie Time. Okay, we're riding out in this one. It's called The Rider. And the second boy in his horse story, Lean on Pete, just came out too.
Mm-hmm.
So set it up for us.
So it is, it's funny because it brings you open on this massive head wound. And it takes a while to sort of contextualize what you're looking at, but it's an incredibly realistic, almost documentary-like.
It is, yes.
Image of the like very traditional cowboy story. It's a man who can no longer ride. So, what is his existence? It's a story about masculinity, and we follow this cowboy named Brady who's young. And an up-and-coming rodeoer, but also a very talented horse trainer who has a horrible accident and is told by the doctors that he can never ride again.
Yes. The tension of the film, for me, is whether he will ride again.
Absolutely.
Through the whole film,
mm-hmm.
You're just wondering. And I think, agreeing with you, there's something naturalistic about this.
Very.
And I guess maybe you could call it a fictional documentary or a fictional biography or something.
It's so close to reality. Yeah.
I know, and it did happen to him,
mm-hmm.
apparently.
Yeah.
So it's so beautifully photographed, as in these stories. I think even as in Lean on Pete, awful lot of close-ups.
Mm.
The kid has a great face.
He does.
And this is the second time the director. Who is this director? Oh,
Chloe Zhao.
Thank you. Yes, this is the second time she's had a film out here in the Pine Ridge Reservation
mm-hmm.
In South Dakota, which I've gone through on my motorcycle.
Nice.
And it's impressively poor.
Yeah.
The poorest place in the country. And
I think that's something that they capture really nicely in this movie. I mean, the whole time you watch this movie, for me, you can't escape the themes, the tone. Elements, that sort of hardscrabble poetry of any cowboy movie. And still, I think it's definitely an era of romance, but I think she drains it of the polish.
Oh, yes.
That sort of masculine romance that you see in, like, your traditional Western. Because, what he has to his other opportunity, if he's not going to ride, what he has is destitute poverty. He lives in a trailer with his dad and his sister that could be repossessed at any minute.
Exactly.
He's got to get a job like checking at a grocery store. That's his other option. And then you just see these gorgeous lonesome vistas where a lone horse silhouettes against the sunset,
yes.
And you're like, wow, yeah, that's a lot to give up.
Yeah, and adding to the fact that his sister Lily has
some sort of
cognitive
delay.
Disability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this kid has nothing going for him, but he is a great writer
mm-hmm.
and a whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
So he is clearly talented, but he has this Frankensteinian stitch on his head, and he shouldn't ride. And he's threatening to ride.
Yes, because he doesn't have a lot of other options, and I think also, and in a very cowboy way, his identity is so wrapped up in this. And then the other cowboys that he knows, they're all like, come on, I had my ribs broken and I got back on. And he goes, your brains are not the same as your ribs. But then there's also this really very powerful counterpoint of a character called Lane, who is a cowboy, who is a great, great friend of Brady's, who clearly has gone through some crippling accident from which he will never recover. Yes. And so as opposed to, I think, a more Hollywood version where it's just this sort of looming romantic sense of death, you get a very concrete image of, well, death is not the only option if he gets back on that horse. And you get to see it in a really tender, lovely, but very authentic way what he's risking.
Yeah, and this is Lane Scott, who is Lane Scott
mm-hmm.
in the film, mm-hmm. and clearly has suffered such a damaging ride. Mm-hmm. What I found, Hope, is also the sense that what Brady tries to do is have some hope for Lane,
right,
and maybe for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that one of the sad parts of the film, that it's, as you said, it's not going to happen, baby.
Right.
You know, for Lane Scott for sure. We're being led along to think that maybe it could happen for Brady.
For Brady.
But it's not happening for Lane, and yet Lane is there, as we all might do, encouraging the guy. Oh, you know, someday you'll ride again.
Yeah, get back up on that horse.
Because there is an inevitability in the damage that can be done, in the poverty of that place, and there's a masculine imperative here in the cowboy myth, and these guys are, and these guys are all about riding.
Yes,
it's all about horses.
It is.
Mean, there is nothing else.
No.
So,
and if you look at what their other options are, you know, that's the option you would choose too. If you could just get on this beautiful horse and ride through this hard-looking, but you know, really beautiful country, that's what you would choose as well, especially when your other option. And he says at one point to his dad, who, you know, gambles away what little money he has and drinks away what little money he has and is about to lose, you know, the shack or the trailer that they live in. He tells his dad, I am not going to turn into you. And you realize, no, that's exactly what the threat is. Yeah. Like, his options are turn into his father or turn into Lane.
Yeah. Well, Brady is a very cinematic actor, and I do like the way the director gently takes us along, and we do become a part of his life. And we are aware of the challenges of his life. There are shots also of them on their Broncos. No human being should want to do that.
I'm with you. I'm like, my brain is injured watching this.
They mentioned something like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys don't... Whoa!
Yeah, and it's funny, though, when he's sitting around with his cowboy friends, you know, out on the plains playing guitar, they talk about that. I've had more concussions than anybody in the NFL, and you think, oh, I'm sure you have. And that's not something to boast about. That's worrisome, sir.
So it's not all a downer. It really, I think, as you have said, it is a beautiful evocation of our dreams of the West.
Right.
And about young men with few options, and talent. And also hope for me, I do like, as I did in Lean on Pete, I do like the relationships with the horses.
Yeah.
You know.
No, there was a lot of just really poignant beauty in his with a couple of different horses.
Yeah.
And there's so much, again, you mentioned the close-ups of the horse and the horse's eye, and there are two different horses in the film that really do become characters.
Yes. Well, Hope Madden, I don't know, y'all. I think we better apply a grade to this film called The Rider.
I'm going to go A-.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Lord. You know, we don't collude. But that is my grade as well. And I don't know what the minus is.
No, you know, it's a little bit slow.
Yes.
It is. It eventually is a bit hypnotic, but it takes a minute to get into it. And the actors are not actors, and so there are a couple where you think, you know, I mean, I appreciate the authenticity, but it's a very, very minor criticism, I think, but just enough to knock it to an A- for me.
All right, we're off into the sunset.
That's right.
Thanks.
Sure.